and welcome to Meet the Candidates Night. I am Nicole Anderton, the president of the PTSA. We are happy to host this event, allowing the community here in attendance and joining us virtually to learn more about the candidates running for the Board of Education. Myself, along with PTSA Treasurer Christina Ginty, will be leading the evening's questions and answer period. Before we begin with questions, I would like the candidates to take a few minutes and introduce themselves. Candidates, you will have up to 3 minutes to introduce yourself, give your background, experience, community, and organization involvement. To help you stay within the allotted time, the timekeepers will indicate to you when you have 1 minute, 30 seconds, and 15 seconds left. At the end of your time, they will show you the stop sign. Anthony, we will start with you.
Good evening. My background is not from initially being in Newfane. I grew up. Can you hear this? We can do it. How's that? All right. I grew up in a little town called Woodhull, New York, which is halfway between Cornell, if you know where it is. And so not from Newfane. Moved here in 1997 after having served 7.5 years in the Air Force and 42.5 years with DuPont. My education, I have a bachelor's degree from RIT in photographic science and a master's degree from I was wondering what the chime was. A master's degree from RIT in organizational management. I was a human resources manager for DuPont for my last 19 years. I think I said we moved here in 1997, and I became involved with the school board in probably around 2015. Boys, Ty and Reese were going to school, and I decided that maybe being part of the school board, being able to contribute to the success of the organization of the district is something that would be fun. I've been on the school board for 2 terms, and I think we've had some pretty successful endeavors during that time.
Thank you. Next, Rachel Mazier.
Hello, my name is Rachel Maziers. I am a Newfane graduate, class of 2006. I am a mother of 3 future alumni who are back in the corner there. I'm currently the business director at the Lockport Historic Palace Theater. I've been there for about a year. Prior to that, I stayed home with my children. We did homeschooling for a year, so God bless all the teachers out there. Currently, I am the vice president of the Alumni Association. I will be the president next year. The last 2 years, I have organized Newfane Community Day along with John Syracuse. And last year, I sat on the tourism board for Newfane. I've also done the giving tree for the Alumni Association, which has been a huge success the last 2 years, so thank you to the community for that. After high school, I went to Niagara University. I have my bachelor's degree in special event management, so I'd like to make every district event special, and that's all I've got.
Thank you, Rachel. Next, Corey Murray.
Hi everybody, I'm Corey Murray. I've been a district resident since 1996 when my husband Michael and I bought our first home. We chose Newfane because we believed then, like we do now, that it's a great place to raise a family and a great district to send your kids to school. I'm a graduate of Wilson, probably not the best way to start this out, but that's where I came from. So it means a lot to me to find a district that, like I said, we could raise our kids in and that we were confident in, and that's why we chose Newfane. I have 3 children with Mike, Matthew, Zachary, and Elizabeth. They are all Newfane graduates, and I'm proud of the education that Newfane gave to them. I retired in 2019 after 23 years as an office manager in the healthcare field, and I was blessed to be home with the kids during COVID. It was an opportunity that I wouldn't trade because, as we all know, that was difficult, not only on families, but on the students. I've been involved with a lot of different organizations during the time that all of the kids have gone through the school district. Currently, I am just completing my 3rd year as a board member with the alumni. I volunteered and then became a board member with the PTA, and last year completed serving 2 years as president. I do help out with the sports boosters when needed, with the Friends of Music when needed. I'm blessed that my kids had an opportunity to participate in a lot of the organizations and activities that the school offers, so I was able to, be the room mom or be the team mom, and I think that gives me a lot to carry forward should I get a position on the board. I was able to, because of retiring, have some time to commit to the building planning teams, the safety teams, the committees to help hire, and that experience I'm going to take with me moving forward too. So that's a little bit about me. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Emma Odette?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here this evening. I'm a wife. I'm a mother of 2 boys. My oldest is a graduate of Newfane, and my youngest is a senior this year, so he will be graduating in a few short weeks. My husband and I moved to Newfane in '07 when we bought our first house, and I came from a small town called Coudersport, Pennsylvania. I knew nobody. I wanted to make connections, so I dove right in with volunteering in classrooms, with the PTSA. I served every possible position you could hold on the PTSA. And through the years, I worked my way through sports. As my boys grew, so did my volunteer opportunities, until I found my way to the Board of Education. My first year on the Board of Education, I was appointed, filling a seat. Then I ran, and I served my term, and this is my 5th year on the board again with another appointed term. I'm employed at the Village Eatery Italian Bistro in Lockport. I work there as the manager of the front end of the restaurant. I have been there for approximately 10 years now. So in the restaurant industry, I have learned how a lot of transferable and valuable skills in terms of collaboration, time management, and communication. So I believe that these skills have helped me to be an effective board member. And I too am proud of the work that the board and I have done in the past few years. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Now to the question and answer period. Candidates, after the question is read, each of you will be given up to 2 minutes to answer it. We will start with a different candidate for each question. Again, the PTSM members keeping time will inform you of the time remaining until the 2 minutes has expired. We ask that you refrain from speaking while other candidates are answering the questions. Topics that may be covered in the questions consist of the following: strengths and weaknesses of the district, student needs, roles and responsibilities of the Board of Education, vision for the district, school budget, district needs, capital project, community involvement, and district safety. Audience members, you have the opportunity to submit questions for consideration. Kindly fill out an index card and hand it to the PTSA members at the back table. If time allows, appropriate additional questions may be selected from these submissions. Let's begin.
What differentiates you from the other candidates and/or board members? What unique qualities would you bring to this role? I'm going to start with Corey.
If elected to the board, I believe that I would bring a positive voice. I believe that I would bring energy and passion as I advocate for all the children in the district. One of the things that I learned while the kids were going through the school, especially with my oldest son, Matthew, who I'm sure most of you are aware has autism, so we worked alongside the teachers a little more closely, was you have to advocate for what you believe your child needs. Sometimes you have to have tough conversations. Sometimes you have to ask tough questions. And sometimes when you leave a meeting, you don't always get the answer or the outcome that you want. And I think that's given me the ability to grow as a person. Everybody likes to get what they want. So when you don't, you have to grow and learn from it. And I think that that passion that I have not only for my kids, but for all the kids, and I think, again, those of you that know me and have seen the volunteer work that I've done, know that I love all the kids like they're my own. And I think I bring that, or will bring that, to the board if elected. I also believe that throughout the time that the kids were in school, I was able to build really great relationships with the teachers, with the administration, with the staff in the buildings. And I think that's important moving forward because you have to work with all of those stockholders as a board member in order to hear their concerns and help, fix their concerns if possible. So those are some of the attributes that I believe that I will bring to the board if elected. Thank you.
What differentiates you from the other candidates and or board members? What unique qualities would you bring to this role? Rachel.
I think that all of the board members and candidates have the same vision in mind. We're here to advocate for our students, our faculty and staff, as well as our community. Unique qualities that I have that would serve that purpose is I have strong relationships within the community with key stakeholders. I currently have children that are in the district that will be in the district for up to 12 years. I have very strong organization skills as the business director at the Palace. I do have relationships with many community members outside of Newfane as well that could provide benefits to our district, and that I am just a go-getter. I like to get things done, and that's it.
Emma, what differentiates you from the other candidates and or board members? What unique qualities would you bring to this role?
With the exception of Tony, I definitely bring experience on the board. Having the knowledge and the know-how to hit the ground running on the moving parts in the district as they stand is important. And I also talked a little bit about being in the restaurant business. I believe that those are life skills. I'm a good communicator, problem solver, I'm quick on my feet. Being a forward thinker, I think, is an important quality of a board member, not necessarily unique, but important. I also have had 2 children go through the district, so I have the experience of knowing what the weaknesses and the strengths of the district were or are. So yeah, I got.
Anthony, what differentiates you from the other candidates and or board members? And what unique qualities would you bring to this role?
Well, I think one of the things that differentiates me is just the number of years of experience I've had with the board. My background in human resources and in manufacturing gives me a different perspective from the other individuals that are on the board, so it adds a different diversity to the board when we're dealing with issues and working on budgets, etc. So those are the strengths that I bring. I've been the lucky individual to be the father of 2 boys that went through and graduated. In fact, one just graduated from college, and so I've got a high degree of love for the things that were given to those boys as they were coming up through. And to the district as well.
Thank you. Question 2. Rachel, what motivates you to want to become a board member?
My main motivating factor is obviously my kids and just making sure that the district is as good as it can be for them as well as the other kids of the district. I think that a main motivator for me is just for the community and the parents, and just to know who's here at the board, who's got their back, and who they can come to if they ever need it.
Thank you, Rachel. Corey, what motivates you to become a board member?
So I'm motivated by a couple of things. First thing I can think of is I'm motivated to continue seeing and being part of a team that makes Newfane be a school of excellence. What does that mean to me? It's not a title that gets put in a magazine or on a piece of paper. It means that we're giving the kids, the students, current and future, the best possible education that we can give them. I'm also motivated by the theory's the wrong word. I'm motivated by a statement that I've heard a lot recently, and that is, well, we're from Newfane, so we can, or we're from Newfane, so we shouldn't expect this. And I'm motivated to change that narrative to we're from Newfane, so we can. We're from Newfane, so we should. I'm super, super proud of Newfane. I, bleed blue, that's the joke among a lot of people. And I'm motivated to make other people be proud of Newfane, and I'm motivated to make Newfane be proud of itself, and again, make the statement, we're from Newfane, so we did. That motivates me. I'm motivated because I think, and I'm gonna tag onto what Tony just said, I'm motivated because this district gave so much to my family and I feel like this is the next step for me to give back. So that's one of the other things that motivates me as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Tony, what motivates you to become a board member?
Well, the fact that I've been involved for the last 6 years, and I want to continue to see the progress that we've made. There's been a lot of improvements that have occurred over that period of time, and there's yet a lot of work to do. So I want to be able to continue to contribute to that in any way that I can.
Thank you. Emma, what motivates you to become a board member?
I'm motivated to continue doing the work that I've been a part of for the past 5 years that I've been on the board, to continue to see the changes in the district, the positive changes, to help grow this district, the education, the students. I'm motivated by my children. I'm grateful for the education that they got in Newfane and the opportunities afforded to them, and I would love to see that continue for all of the students that come through Newfane. And I think that growing our district and being on a board, a collaborative board who has worked very well together, I'm passionate about that, I've enjoyed that, and that's what motivates me to continue doing that.
Thank you.
Question 3. Tony, what do you think the priorities should be for the school board?
I guess there are two, probably more than that, but there's two primary responsibilities. One is obviously managing a budget that can provide for all of the things that we are able to provide for now, and managing that budget process in a fiscally responsible manner. The other thing has to do with, we've done a lot within this last capital budget, or capital project, to do things around safety. We've got a very active district safety committee, and I think that's one of the priorities for the board, is to make sure that our students have got a safe environment to come and learn in.
Thank you. Emma, what do you think the priorities should be for the school board?
Maintaining a fiscally responsible budget for all stakeholders, the community, the students, all of the teachers, contracts. Adopting policies that give the district direction and keep us on those paths to achieve its goals. Hiring a superintendent and maintaining a superintendent and keeping a superintendent here, keeping teachers here, keeping all staff here, making this a district that people want to be in and want to stay in for the long haul. I could go through all of the things that are required by the board, that the board, what we are responsible for, but I think maintaining a good relationship and continuing forward momentum in the district is what we're here to do.
Thank you. Rachel, what do you think the priorities should be for the school board?
I think along with what Tony and Emma said, and kind of piggybacking off of Emma saying about the superintendent, is just putting strong leadership in all of our buildings. We have 2 higher up admin positions that are open and we are interviewing for. I think to continue to maintain our low tax increases over the last 4 years. We're one of the lowest in all of Western New York, and I think that's something that the board has done a great job and that we need to continue to maintain. Supporting our superintendent and admin in the School of Excellence vision will then in turn attract young growing families to then increase our enrollment, and then just creating strong relationships within our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Corey, what do you think the priorities should be for the school board?
So I agree with everybody. That's my answer. No, I'm just kidding. I want to piggyback on it and probably repeat what they said. I think right now the priority for the school board should be to attract, nurture, and retain top talent at every level. Not only the superintendents and the administration, but the teachers and the staff as well. Like everybody up here has said, if you do that, you're going to make Newfane a place that families want to come to. I also believe it's important to maintain a budget that is fiscally responsible to the taxpayer, but allows for our students to get the education and the programming that they need. Sometimes you've got to increase the budget so that we don't have to make cuts, and so that we can offer our students these programs. I think as long as you can explain and justify those things, it works, and I'll agree with Rachel, the board has done a great job in that. I also think it's important that we make decisions financially for the future, to make sure that we have a secure future. So in 3 years or 5 years, we're not in a place we don't want to be. Those are some of the priorities. Again, I agree with them all. Safety is a big issue. There was a lot done in the last capital project. The Raptor program is now in effect. And I think as long as we protect the safety and well-being of the students and the teachers, we're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Corey, in your view, what has the district done well over the last 5 years? What has the district done poorly that you would change?
Okay, so I think I'll start with the strengths, and I'm going to repeat a lot of what I just said. I think the board has done an outstanding job with improving the safety of the buildings for the benefit of the students and the staff. I believe that the board has done a phenomenal job implementing programs, both on the educational side and the athletic side. I think some of the recognition that our teachers have gotten, I know there was just a recognition for master teachers. I mean, that's huge. Those teachers are being supported, and I think that's a direct reflection of the decisions that the board has made. I know that coming out of COVID wasn't easy. I mentioned that earlier, and I think the board has done a phenomenal job during that time, if we're going back 5 years, in allowing our students to get the education that they needed during that time, supporting them, supporting the staff, supporting the families. I think those are a lot of what's been really great. I guess if I'm looking at things that maybe could use improvement, you can never get lax with safety, right? We're doing a great job, but we don't wanna fall short there. Again, this is a good and a bad. Because of COVID, a lot of our students really had social emotional issues that came to light that maybe weren't there. And we've done a great job as a district, but the board and the superintendent, their partnership with Horizon. So that's, again, a really great thing I think they've done, but you don't want to get lax there either. You want to make sure you've got that support. I always think discipline can be looked at, but I know that there's a lot of new programs in place at the high school specifically that's working. Those are some of the things that I think are good and bad. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Tony, in your view, what has the district done well over the last 5 years? What has the district done poorly that you would change?
Well, as far as what has the district done well, I think we've talked about once before, but the fact that we've been able to manage with a budget that's provided for our teaching staff, and we've provided for excellent hiring, and so we've got an excellent teaching staff, in my perspective. We have managed through COVID, and the significant thing there was the fact that we were able to have our elementary kids go full-time and not have the learning loss that a lot of districts ended up having to deal with. So I think that was a big plus. To talk about poorly, I don't think we've done anything poorly, but there's things that we can do better. For instance, around safety. This year, with the leadership from Lisa, we have a much better district safety committee, and Mrs. Miller with the student safety committee, we've got things moving forward to improve the safety environment around here. The other thing is making sure that we're giving the best coaching to our high school students, especially around where they should be going, coaching them and preparing them for moving out into whatever it is, the career that they're going to move into. And I say career because it may be in the trades or it may be to colleges, but we need to make sure we've prepared them effectively.
Thank you. Emma, in your view, what has the district done well over the last 5 years, and what has the district done poorly that you would change?
Thank you. The capital project, the updates to our district, we continue to improve programs and enhance services within our budget, specifically the adding courses at the high school. We have partnered with Ontario Shores for internships for our high school students. We've built public relations. We've made our website one platform so that we are all communicating on the same platform. We've hired an amazing district photographer that puts us out and I think gives us an edge above all the rest. We have enhanced our safety features. Safety is always of the utmost importance. Our mental health services that we have offered here at the middle school now. So those are a few of the things just in the last 5 years that come to mind that we are doing well. I like to see the glass half full, so I don't think we're doing things poorly, but what I think we could focus on is a little more diversity training for our educators, a little more anti-bullying presentations to help us navigate this world of keyboard warriors and help our students navigate that world, and more counseling. After COVID, it was just such a tough time for everybody, mentally, physically, emotionally. I think we need to be supporting our teachers with more counselors.
Thank you. And Rachel, in your view, what has the district done well over the last 5 years, And what has the district done poorly that you would change?
I think the obvious answer, which everybody already said, is our capital project. The stadium, the Raptor system were both excellent additions to our district. That's going to continue to be something amazing for our district for years to come. Keeping our tax increase minimal is something that the board and district has done well over the last 5 years. I think that the curriculum, post-COVID, COVID was a thing, it was a hard thing, especially for our teachers and our students, but just keeping the students hungry to learn. Last board meeting, we saw a presentation from some middle school students, and they have an agriculture club and a library club, which I think are amazing additions to our schools, just giving students a variety of options that's not your typical football, chess club, and just keeping them hungry. I think that the district and the board over the last 5 years has done an amazing job, and maybe some improvements in general would, I mean, you can never be too safe. I think continued safety training for staff and faculty, hand in hand with Niagara County sheriffs. Anything that you can do to keep our students safe can be improved. And then as I said before, just our enrollment, making Newfane a district that people want to move to and send their kids to, which we have been taking steps currently. Thank you.
Thank you. Question number 5. Emma, we're going to start with you. What do you believe are the greatest challenges currently facing our school district?
I think I spoke a little bit in my what could we do better section in terms of diversity. I think that we need more diversity training. We have students that are entering our district that are not English speaking or are different educational needs, special educational needs. We have low income students. We have different ethnicities. So I think we really need to focus a lot more, or just more, on diversity in our district.
Thank you. Tony, what do you believe are the greatest challenges currently facing our school district?
Well, one of the challenges is the fact that we have decreasing enrollment. And so we need to see what we can do to improve that. My hope is that with the capital budget and the facilities improvements, I mean, you look at this facility and how much nicer it is than it used to be. We've got the field. I'm hoping that those kinds of things will attract more families to come to Newfane, because I think Newfane has a very good reputation outside from people looking at Newfane. So that's one of the things we need to work on enrollment. The other is managing the budget. We have got challenges as the fact that some of the state aid is going to start dwindling based on the governor's recent actions to start reducing that. And so working to manage the budget in a way that we can continue to provide all the things we're currently providing, and then make sure that we don't end up with any kind of financial problems.
Thank you. Corey, what do you believe are the greatest challenges currently facing our school district?
Again, I agree with Tony and Emma. I think one of the greatest challenges currently is the budget. Tony just said it. State aid is ending, the COVID money is ending. How do we continue to give what we're giving and give what the kids need and deserve, and not have to increase the budget substantially? I'll piggyback by saying again, when you look at all of that, you have to make sure that you're looking for the future so we don't end up in trouble 3 or 5 years down the road. I certainly think that that's an ongoing challenge, not new to any school district. The second one is, I think, preparing students for a world that's ever changing. It doesn't look the way it does when I was in school, when you were in school. So how do we teach the kids in a way that they can learn? Not everybody leaves school and goes on to education, secondary education. The trades are huge, especially in our area. So I think the challenge there is to make sure that we can offer those programs, those classes to the students. Rachel brought up the agricultural program. That was just wonderful to see, because that's something forward thinking. It's something not unique to this area. A lot of kids grow up and they're the third or fourth generation, and we need to be able to, again, support them and allow them to learn what they want to learn. So I think that's a challenge, right? Just being able to help and prepare the students for an ever-changing world. And I think the last challenge currently is, again, attracting and keeping talent at all levels. If you do that, a lot of the rest of this will fall into place. We'll be able to attract new families because we'll have a phenomenal staff, and that's the goal. So thank you.
Thank you. Rachel, what do you believe are the greatest challenges currently facing our school district?
I will echo everybody with the enrollment issue and leave it at that. I think the social emotional learning, and not just learning from a textbook or a Chromebook, and just giving these kids real life experiences, talking it out, talking about your feelings. I think that another part of that kind of is making the kids want to come to school and stay in school. I think that attendance, once you get up into the middle and high school, kind of falls. They come for the 2 or 3 classes that they're required to do, and just really focusing on what we can provide them to keep them in school all day and want them to keep coming back every day, which could be, as Corey was talking about, a focus on trade schools and what these kids can do after high school that's not college. Bringing back the basics, home ec classes. I know that they have business classes where they learn how to write resumes, and just stuff that if they're not going to college, what they need to learn to enter the real world after graduation.
Thank you.
Tony, what issues do you believe our district needs to address in its academic program and offerings? What changes would you recommend?
I think we need to, let me back up. From an academic perspective, I think we're providing a pretty well-rounded academic foundation. But I think we need to continue to look for partnerships like the one with the credit union, so that kids have an opportunity to see something more than just the basic courses. So provide more opportunities like the clubs, where they can get out and experience different things than just academics. I think that's it.
Thank you. Rachel, what issues do you believe our district needs to address in its academic program and offerings, and what changes would you recommend?
I would agree with Tony, and I think that our district offers a very well-rounded variety of classes and programs. As I mentioned, the different clubs that we saw come in, and I think that branching out and working with the community like Ontario Shores, other small businesses within the community, just to show them, as I said before, what life is after graduation.
Thank you. Corey, What issues do you believe our district needs to address in its academic program and offerings, and what changes would you recommend?
I agree with Rachel and Tony. We offer a lot of great opportunities to our students. I think as long as we continue to support our teachers, get our teachers in classes that get them thinking differently, maybe teaching differently. Not all kids learn the same, we all know that. So how do we teach to those children so they can learn? I think it's important that our district takes a look at what do we have for the advanced learners, and where do we start looking at those students? Is it in high school when they can take the college classes, or is it at the middle school where we need to challenge them, or can we even start looking at that opportunity in elementary school? That would be a suggestion that I would bring forward, is how can we offer challenging classes to the students that are ahead. I think it's important that you look at all the students and make good choices for them. Thank you.
Thank you. And Emma, what issues do you believe our district needs to address in its academic programs and offerings, and what changes would you recommend?
Just to piggyback a little bit off of what Corey said, I think putting all students of different learning levels in the same classes, it's not a good learning environment. I think finding classes that suit our special ed students all the way up to our higher education learning students, I think that we need to find balance within and create programs that provide an avenue for all learners to learn effectively. I think putting policies in place or pushing for policies that have uniform teaching, I think it just like waters down education, and it makes it tough for our educators to be engaged teachers and to do what they love.
Thank you.
Question number 7. Corey, we're going to start with you. What would you do as a board member to ensure that after-school programs and other activities remain in place for students?
So I believe that those programs have a place. I believe those programs are important. And as long as they are helping further the education and support the students, I would make votes to increase the budget if needed, to make other cuts if needed. I think that's a tough question. I'm going to be very honest for me to answer, since I don't currently sit on the board. I don't have the knowledge that Tony and Emma have when it comes to a question like this. Again, I would say though that as long as those programs are important and we can keep them in the budget, that's what I would do. I would vote to make sure that happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Emma, what would you do as a board member to ensure that after-school programs and other activities remain in place for students?
As a board member, I'm only one person. So as much as I would like to say, this is what I would do, you are one person on a board of 7. So you bring those issues to the table, and hopefully we can find a common ground that suits everybody's needs.
Thank you. Tony, what would you do as a board member to ensure that after-school programs and other activities remain in place for the students?
I think as a board, we would need to consider what are the activities that are going on right now, and what is the level of interest in those activities, so that as we look at budgeting, because budgeting is one of the factors that you need to deal with, so that you can support the teachers to be resources to those extra activities. Are we providing things that are of high value to most of the students or not? So I think it's evaluating what we're doing and then budgeting for those that we want to continue.
Thank you. And Rachel, what would you do as a board member to ensure that after-school programs and other activities remain in place for the students?
Everything everybody else said. As well, I would reach out to our community I mean, I'm not above asking for help if it's gonna help somebody else. Work with the town board, see if there's something that they can collaborate with the Board of Education with. Search for funding. I mean, I think that the board and other admin do this already, but what's one more person looking for funding, especially for maintaining these after-school programs that families depend on just to get by.
Thank you.
Tony, as a board member, where would you look to make budget cuts if needed?
Well, that's a good question, because the first place you need to look at is what is the enrollment, and what will the enrollment support. There are a number of things that we do right now. We provide for the school resources, pens, pencils, and everything else. No one has to have a list to go out to Walmart at the beginning of school. So there are little things that we do that if we had to make cuts, I'd look at the little things that are not essential but are nice to have. Now, I'd like to see those things continue, but we'd have to look at it that way. And then we'd have to look at enrollment and what will our enrollment support as far as the courses that we provide.
Thank you. Rachel, as a board member, where would you look to make budget cuts if needed?
I think that not being a board member, I don't have the knowledge to properly answer that question right now. But I do think that if I were to become a board member, I would look to admin, faculty, and staff to get their recommendations. They are the front line. They know what our students need, and take that back to the board and make a decision based on that.
Thank you. Corey, as a board member, where would you look to make budget cuts if needed?
I'm going to piggyback on what Tony said. Right now, the district offers the free lunch, the not having to go out and get school supplies. We don't charge to attend athletic events. So those little things, as he referenced to them, would be what I would look at first. Do we have to go back to having families supply the school supplies? Do we charge? I also agree with Rachel. That's a tough question as not being a board member to answer, but I will give you my opinion on this. I think you have to, in my opinion, make education the top priority. That's what the students are here for, so that we can prepare them for the real world. And if that means looking at after-school activities, if that means looking at athletics, you have to look at every single component of what we offer them and decide where cuts are needed. But I'll say this, I hope we never have to get there, and I think that we're on the path where we're being financially responsible and planning for that 3, 5, 7 years. And if elected, I want to work with that team to continue that so that we never have to see budget cuts. Thank you.
Thank you. And Emma, as a board member, where would you look to make budget cuts if needed?
Just echoing the responses of the other candidates here, how do we trim the fat in our budget without cutting classrooms with programs? How do maybe we look at downsizing buildings, maybe we look at right-sizing our athletic teams, eliminating teams that might not have a lot of interest, or even collaborating with other schools. It would be a hard ask, but we would certainly have to find ways to get it done.
Thank you.
Question number 9. Emma, what does district safety mean to you? And with today's growing violence, would you consider increasing security staff?
I think that with the secure entryways in our building, with the new Raptor program and new programs that the safety team has been talking about as of late with walkie-talkies in each building and communications within each building. I think that we are definitely doing right by our district in terms of keeping our children safe. It is the utmost important job we have as a district, and I think we're doing all the right things. So,
Thank you. Corey, what does district safety mean to you? And with today's growing violence, would you consider increasing security staff?
Kids can't learn unless they feel safe, and teachers can't do their job unless they feel safe. So to me, it's one of the most important things. That's what it means. With that said, I agree with Emma. The Raptor program, the two-door system, it's enhanced the security. And I believe that I wouldn't be able to clearly give you an answer without consulting with people like, Deputy Needle, who's probably leading the conversations with the safety committee right now, because I don't know what more can be done. What more can we financially, afford to do? I believe, like Emma said, that we're in a great place right now. I mean, we went from not having these things to having them. That's great. So my answer is I would have to consult with Ray, hear where the safety committee's at, and again, what are the ideas that they're putting forth, and can we financially afford to do those? Thank you.
Thank you. Rachel, what does district safety mean to you? And with today's growing violence, would you consider increasing security staff?
I think that safety is the obvious, keeping our children safe from physical harm. But I would also say that it is keeping our children safe from bullying. So that is something that I would also consider when thinking about safety. To answer your question about more safety officers, I don't think that there can ever be too many. I would want to ensure that they are a friendly face for our students. You don't want them to see an armed security guard that they are unfamiliar with and that cause stress to them. I think that the first step in considering this would to obviously work with Deputy Needle and the Niagara County Sheriffs and continue our safety trainings, bring in the Niagara County Sheriffs to run drills with our teachers, and just make sure that our teachers are remaining calm and just showing our students that they are safe and that they are there to keep them safe.
Thank you. Tony, what does district safety mean to you? And with today's growing violence, would you consider increasing security staff?
Well, I think there's two aspects to district safety. There's the learning environment, and as I think it was Emma mentioned, around making sure that we've got control so that we're not have bullying and those kinds of things going on. So it's that, and it's facilities, having safe facilities that are in good repair. As far as adding safety resources, I think we need to consider where we are at the time. Right now, I think that would not be necessary, because I don't think we see indicators that are saying that there is that level of concern. However, we need to keep track of that, and if it was needed to do that, we could figure a way to budget that in. I think what we're doing with the district safety committee, putting together the radios so that we can now, within the next, I'd say 3 months, be able to communicate when there's issues between all of the buildings, as opposed to having to rely on cell phones. It's going to improve our ability to respond to any kind of issues, safety issues, or disturbances that might occur. So I think that's a plus moving forward, and it would minimize the need to add safety resource officers.
Thank you.
Emma, besides attending a school board meeting, what will you do as a Board of Ed member to hear parent concerns?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Besides attending a school board meeting, what will you do as a Board of Ed member to hear parent concerns?
Well, having been on the board, and we only hear parent concerns if they're brought to our attention, either through the board meetings or via email. I can honestly say that in the time that I've sat on the board, I can count on my hands the number of parents that actually do reach out via email. So if we don't know about it, there's nothing we can do about it. So I would definitely say, reach out, talk to us, inform us. If we don't know something, we can't be of assistance.
Thank you. Rachel, besides attending a school board meeting, what will you do as a Board of Education member to hear parent concerns?
I think just promoting, please come to the board meetings if necessary, if you have any concerns. Being at school events, introducing myself, I'm on board if there's anything that you need. Continuing to volunteer within the community, not just at district events, but at the community day, just getting out there. I think having a social media presence, while I don't want everybody messaging me on Facebook, but not everybody can come to meetings, and not everybody is comfortable enough writing a formal email. I think just looking through Facebook specifically at parent concerns, and they might not feel comfortable coming to a board member to say what their concerns are, and that's okay. We can see them, and we can address them without them physically telling us that.
Thank you. Tony, besides attending a school board meeting, what will you do as a Board of Education member to hear parent concerns?
I think it's a matter of being available at events so that when parents see us and recognize that we're board members, they have some level of comfort of coming to us. And then it's a matter of then any one of us taking that to the board so that, because we can't respond for the board, but we can carry that message forward, know what the issue is, and then bring it forward to the board so that we can take action, whatever action that should be.
Thank you. And Corey, besides attending a school board meeting, what will you do as a Board of Education member to hear parent concerns?
I'll be visible in the community. I've done that with the roles that I've had with the PTA, with the alumni, for my children, not only at the sporting events, but the spelling bees, the academic awards, the musicals, just being out there. I shop local, I eat local, I support local. Being visible in the community, that's how the parents come up and talk to you. Being at the soccer matches, the football games, just being everywhere and being open to having conversations with people and listening. I've been told that if you get a seat on the board, you gotta become a good listener, and I'm ready to do that. So you've gotta listen and then take that information back to the board and, see if you can help that family or that parent with a concern. That's what I would do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rachel, if elected, what about our school district do you want to be different by the end of your term?
I think the biggest difference that I would like to see if I was on the board is just having a comprehensive relationship within the community. I think that it's important for enrollment for us to have a relationship with John Syracuse and the town board, and how we can collaborate to make Newfane a more attractive district, and in turn that will increase families that move to Newfane, that will increase tourism that is coming to Newfane to visit those families. It's good for not only the district, but also the community, small businesses, and essentially just money that is brought into the community.
Thank you. Corey, if elected, what about our school district do you want to be different by the end of your term?
Like Rachel, I'd like to see more partnerships with the board with this, the school, the staff, the community, and the town. If that happens, good things will happen for all those stakeholders. I'd like to see there be a more positive, proud, we're from Newfane. I mean that. I want everybody to say, my kids go to Newfane. My kids graduated from Newfane. This is what the people in the community and the teachers and the staff in Newfane did for my family. That's what I'd like to see if elected. Thank you.
Thank you. Emma, if elected, what about our school district do you want to be different by the end of your term?
Seeing where our district has come from since my children grew up here, I know that we've moved in the right direction. We have great relationships with the community, the board, our district as a whole. So I feel like we're on the right track. I think that continuing those relationships and building on those relationships keep moving us in the right direction. Newfane, the culture, it's a beautiful community. There's no denying that. I don't care who you are. And I'm gonna beat this horse a little bit more. Diversity, diversity, diversity. We need that part of education for our students, for our families. And we also need to tackle the vaping issue. That I would love to see. It's a huge topic of conversation and concern, but it's something that we need to look at. And it's not just Newfane, it's everywhere, but that's one of the things I would love to see us tackle.
Thank you. And Tony, if elected, what about our school district do you want to be different by the end of your term?
Well, one thing is I'd like to see an increased enrollment. I'd like to see the student body grow and more families moving into Newfane and coming into our district. So that would be one thing. Right now we have policies and programs to deal with safety in the event that there's an emergency. But I would like to see us get in place a very effective and well outlined and understood response program that engages all of the schools and has well identified responsibilities for managing in the event we have to deal with a crisis. I think anything we can do to increase community engagement is a plus, although I agree with Emma, we've got a lot that we've been doing. We ought to be, and I hope we are, I know I am, proud of what we have right now as a district. And so we just need to keep moving that forward.
Thank you.
Rachel, why Newfane? Why have you chosen to raise your family here or stay here after they have graduated?
I left Newfane for about a year. I went to Phoenix, Arizona, and I came right back. Newfane is just, it's home. It feels like home. It smells like home. We are a small town community. Everybody knows everybody. I say the name Richard Pixley and people just go crazy. Not all good things. And that's great, and I love that. I love hearing stories about my grandpa, my mom, my uncles, and now my kids. I love that people just genuinely care here. You'll see somebody that you haven't seen in years and, oh my gosh, I can't believe that Bella's so old, and neither can I, but, and then just being taught by the same teachers that my kids are now being taught by, or people that I went to school with are now teaching my kids. And it's really just, it's just a great place. And I could go on for more than 30 seconds that I have left, so I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Emma, why Newfane? Why have you chosen to raise your family here or stay here after they have graduated?
The initial reason my husband and I came to Newfane, he was from Lockport and I was from a cow town. And I wanted to raise my children in a small town. And when we were looking for school districts, in Business First, Newfane was at the top of the charts for education. And so we chose Newfane. We found a cute little home in the village, and we have raised our boys here. And the academic and athletic opportunities that have been afforded to them in our time here in Newfane, I wouldn't change it for the world. I'm grateful, they're grateful, and we have forged some incredible relationships with people in this community that in itself has been life-changing. So like I said before, my last statement, Newfane is a community and it's a culture, and where else would you rather be?
Thank you, Emma. Tony, why Newfane? Why have you chosen to raise your family here or stay here after they have graduated?
Well, I raised the second half of my family here. I have to say that my son and daughter that are now 48 and 53 did not grow up in Newfane. I think I said earlier, I came from a little town called Woodhall. It was 300 people. I grew up on a farm for the first 11 years, and then I was in a farm village for the rest of that time. So when Connie and I were looking for a place to relocate, I had moved 3 or 4 times with DuPont, and this was the last move. I was looking for a place where it was rural. I could have a house where I did look out my window into somebody else's window. As it turns out, when we adopted the boys, it brought us into the school system. But originally, the reason for Newfane and the reason I stay in Newfane is because it feels like home. It feels comfortable in this environment, and so that's why Newfane.
Thank you. Corey, why Newfane? Why have you chosen to raise your family here or stay here after they have graduated?
Mike and I initially chose Newfane because at the time, the school district had what Matthew needed. And we're blessed. We are. We're blessed for the education that the kids received here. It gave us great pride to put a brick down that had 4 generations of Mike's family on it. We were happy to do that. Now, a lot of people can say that they had 4 generations go through Newfane. We've stayed now that all our kids are out because, as everyone up here has stated, it's family. We've been able to give our kids opportunities because of the phenomenal people that we've met in Newfane. I'll say that everybody in Newfane is just family that you don't know you have yet. I mean, there were teachers that taught my husband, and then we're fortunate enough to teach my kids. That doesn't happen in big schools. And I go back to Matt again. Sorry, it's what I know, but it takes a village, and Newfane was the village we needed to get Matt to where he is today. So that's why we stayed. That's why we'll always stay. We love it up on the Coomer Road. We got a great thing going up there, and we love Newfane. Thanks.
Thank you, Corey. We're now going to go to some questions from the audience.
Corey, starting with you. Since I started teaching 31 years ago, our district has gone from #1 to progressively lower in rankings. Our children, our community deserve better. What are your ideas for how we can fix this problem?
So I've said it a bunch of times throughout the evening, we need to attract and maintain and keep quality educators, quality administration, and not settle. We need to offer programs that allow our kids to be ready for the real world, and I think as a board, we need to, and I'm not sure if anybody's touched on this, but we need to continually monitor the academic achievement of our students. I think that's important. Are our kids learning what they should? Are they ready? Are our teachers teaching what they should so our kids are prepared? Those are the basic fundamentals of what we need to do for our school to get back up to that school of excellence. Thank you.
Thank you. Rachel, since I started teaching 31 years ago, our district has gone from number 1 to progressively lower and lower in rankings. Our children, our community deserve better. What are your ideas for how we can fix this problem?
First, I would like to know where those rankings came from, because Newfane has been great since I've been here. But in all seriousness, I think, as Corey said, just attracting and keeping quality educators, staying on top of new and upcoming technology, new curriculum, and I think that within the last 5 to 10 years, we have been making quality steps to improve those rankings, and we just need to keep that momentum.
Thank you. Emma, since I started teaching 31 years ago, our district has gone from number 1 to progressively lower and lower in the rankings. Our kids, our community deserve better. What are your ideas for how we can fix this problem?
We need a leader that empowers others. We need a leader that stays put. So that would be that's our first hurdle, is putting in place a good leader that can help us move in the right direction. They've touched base on the numbers, our academics, maintaining programs, bringing in programs that are gonna help our students to excel and be better learners. So.
Thank you. And Tony, since I started teaching 31 years ago, our district has gone from number 1 to progressively lower and lower in the rankings. Our kids, our community deserve better. What are your ideas for how we can fix this problem?
Well, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but my other 3 colleagues here have commented on the same thing, that hiring excellence, making sure we've got excellence in educators and in leadership is the first thing. And then measure what's going on and determine, okay, with the help of teachers and the staff, troubleshoot to see if there are deficiencies, what can we do to improve those together. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rachel, what specific steps would you take as a school board member to improve transparency and make school district info more widely available?
I said it before, and I'll say it again, social media presence, I mean, that is good, bad, or indifferent. That is where everybody is getting their information from. Setting up a Board of Education Facebook page to relay information. I regularly get emails, but that's not to say that parents are reading those emails. So just putting it out there in as many ways as we can, snail mail, emails, posts. I know the elementary school uses Class Dojo, Google Classroom. I mean, is it overkill? Probably, but if the district wants the transparency and communication, then that's how we'll have to do it.
Thank you. Corey, what specific steps would you take as a school board member to improve transparency and make school district information more widely available?
I agree with Rachel. I think it's important to get information out so that you get ahead of the spread of misinformation and untruths. And in this day and age, it happens immediately on social media. I think that the classroom teachers can get out more information. I think the building admin can get out more information. It's my opinion that if you give people information and keep them informed, they're much less likely to get upset with the information that they're getting. It gives them time to digest it, understand it, ask questions about it. So I agree with Rachel, social media is super important, whether they get out the information in text, on social media, again, Classroom Dojo, there's a lot of opportunities and a lot of different ways that we can get it out. And I think it goes without saying that, you've got to be transparent, but only up until a point, because there is information that obviously has to remain confidential. But that's what I would do. I would encourage those forms of getting out that information. Thank you.
Thank you. Tony, what specific steps would you take as a school board member to improve transparency and to make school district information more widely available?
Well, I think the steps that we've taken so far in the social media aspect and with the upgrade to the web page that we have is a step in the right direction. Concern that I have in trying to respond to a question like that, though, is what is the definition of lack of transparency? Where is the question coming from? And what is it that we're not being transparent enough about? And so we can consider engaging a cross-section from the community and the faculty and the board to ask that question or answer that question. What is it that's lacking in transparency so that then we can address it?
Thank you. And Emma, what specific steps would you take as a school board member to improve transparency and make school district information more widely available?
Probably gonna sound like a broken record here, guys, but I believe that transitioning to the parent square that we're using now, where blasts go out via email and text, has been helpful in getting information out quickly. I also think the upgrades to our website, we're still working on that, but that's moving in the right direction. Social media at all levels, each building has their own page, so that puts out information. There's people that aren't on social media, so we still have to find ways to get it out there. But I do believe that we have been transparent.
Thank you.
Our last question. Tony, we are starting with you. What can you do as a member of the board to ensure that our higher level functioning students are being challenged at all levels?
Well, we can look at what we're doing right now and see where is it meeting the need and where is it not meeting the need. I think it's a matter of assessing what we're doing, and I don't have the detail in that right now, but I think it's looking at it, looking at the concern of obviously that there's a feeling we're not providing for it, and what do we do to take care of that.
Thank you. Emma, what can you do as a board member of the board to ensure that our higher functioning students are being challenged at all levels?
I agree with Tony. It's a matter of assessing where our students lie now, what are our programs offering them, and how do we give them programs that will challenge them.
Thank you. Rachel, what can you do as a member of the board to ensure that our higher functioning students are being challenged at all levels?
I think as a board member, I would ask our faculty, staff, and parents what, as a district, we are missing in that. sends and just get feedback from them on what offerings that we should have that we don't to challenge those children.
Thank you. And Corey, what can you do as a member of the board to ensure that our higher functioning students are being challenged at all levels?
So I'm in agreement with everybody else by saying that we would have to assess where we are at right now. Where are we lacking? I think I spoke to it earlier. Do we have to start challenging these students at the elementary, at the middle school? What do these programs cost? Do we have the teachers that are qualified to teach and work with these students? Sort of to, I guess, conclude this answer, I would say as a board member, we would encourage the superintendent, the administration, and the teachers to advise us, who are these students, what are their needs, and then look to see if we can meet those needs. Thank you.
All right, on behalf of the PTSA, I would like to thank those of you in attendance tonight, as well as the school and its administration for allowing us to host this event here tonight, and all the volunteers that helped to make that happen. Candidates, thank you for taking time to answer our questions and letting the community get to know you better. We wish you all the best in the upcoming election. The Budget and Board of Education candidate vote is next Tuesday, May 21st at the elementary school from noon until 8. Please make sure to get out and vote. And thank you all again for participating in this event, and have a good night. Thank you.